Thank you. Thank you for joining. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Tuonane. Wewe. Eh? Oh, I muted. Oh, that's so long. Yeah, Karen, today I have really focused on talking on about alcohol. Alcohol is really becoming an issue in our society. I love this video that you did for how many hours? I should be able to see them. They should be, yeah, 9 hours. Yeah, it's saying 9 hours and how many minutes? 9 hours 27 minutes. Wow, it's praying on my background. Let it continue to pray. Yeah, Karen, alcoholism has really been a social issue, and I believe it's time to talk about it, from what we know, so that maybe we can have a rich understanding on why alcoholism is increasing within our society. Karen, why do you believe alcoholism is really increasing in our society? Huh? You are saying it's very accessible. I agree. In terms of accessibility, I think alcohol, we can be able to access alcohol from all corners. So accessibility is one of the key factors, that really, that has really contributed to alcoholism or alcohol misuse increasing within our society. However, it's also important to understand that alcohol comes with a lot of challenges, because one, excessive consumption of alcohol, it's always linked with accident levels. Yeah, accident levels, because maybe one has a hangover, you can understand. Violence in the marriage. I have seen this from the first hand, information. I have seen couples having some key differences, especially maybe when the husband is drunk, and there was also a time that I was living somewhere, and there was a lady who was also taking a lot of alcohol. Unfortunately, she was a single mother, and in the process of taking alcohol, she had a kid, very young kid. And anytime at night, she could feel that she needed a little bit of alcohol. She would just go, and she would always leave the kid locked in the house, and she would go to do crabbing. That's someone that I have lived with. you know she was once my neighbor. I cannot even recall her name, but I always recall that episode. That episode was very bad, because she used to lock the kid inside the house, and she would go partying, and at times she would party from let's say at 10 a.m., and then she would come the following morning at about 8 or 9. And I found that being very weird. And the kid was very young. I think the kid was about 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, the kid was about 2 to 3 years. Because during that time, I recall that kid had not even started going to school. The kid had not started, schooling. And so I saw that thing, and then I really took it from a very negative perspective, in such a way that this single mother would always lock up her kid in the house, and then should proceed to, to go and do some crabbing. And in the process of doing some crabbing, wow, everything would always uh, you know things would always lead the kid to be vulnerable, to a lot of things. The kid would be left alone in the house, and the kid at times would cry, throughout the night. And the kid would reach at a point, where the kid would just keep to report her to the chief, and that's how now uh, that that neighbor of mine just went, because I felt it was not very, very necessary to always make your kid suffer, maybe because you do some stuff, maybe you go raving, you go drinking at night, and in the process you just forget that you have a kid. So alcohol has a lot of detrimental things, and even death. Wow, I have seen so many young people die because of alcohol, and I always feel hurt. I always feel hurt, especially when young people, die because of alcohol. Because at the end of the day, alcohol is really, really threatening, the future of the young people. It's really, really threatening the future of the young people. So let's look at some of the key factors that have really, really contributed for the increase of alcoholism in our society, in our Kenyan society, or in your community. The first issue is all about the grammar, the grammarization and normalization. We live in a society whereby if I'm drinking, I'm seen to be, to be moving with time. That's the thing. If I'm drinking, I'm viewed, I'm viewed to be someone who is moving with time, a guy or a guy or even a lady who is really embracing time. And this trend, I have really, really seen it, especially when we go, any young people mostly going for burial to carry alcohol at the end of the day. That's what is really happening in our society, and this is because most of us, we are really taking that alcohol as a way of, saying, when I have this, I'm just going to relax, and I'm just going to forget that today maybe it was a burial day, furthermore, it's a form of fun, and in terms of fun, most of the people who are really taking alcohol, they are even overdoing it. And then in the process, we are in a community whereby today we really believe and we really appreciate that drinking is something that is harmless, and we are really taking it as a norm. So if you are really drinking, this is just a standard thing. This is just a norm, and there is no issue about drinking. So if you are drinking, this is the trend, and if you are part of the trend, then you have the flow. That's the kind of normalization that we are having today in our society. And these have really, really taken a lot of young people, in the wrong direction, because everyone is like normalizing, let's go for fun, let's just go somewhere and maybe we sip a little bit of some alcohol, and then everything shall be fine, we are just having fun, all that thing. But at the end of the day, we are really forgetting the key impacts of alcohol. So the other thing that has really, really led to increase of alcohol in our societies is all about the social pressure. This is where particularly the young people, uh, like the young adults or maybe even the teenagers, who may feel that there is need, for them to try, for them to try. I heard someone somewhere saying that he has taken a lot of marijuana, he has puffed a lot of marijuana from high school up to now, and and he was really saying that in the process of taking that marijuana, he has been accustomed. He really said that he really got into taking that marijuana as a result of social pressure. As per today, he was saying that the social pressure really introduced him to diverse type of drugs. Not only in marijuana, he is also doing some cigars, and also he is doing some alcoholism. You know, and it's all about the social pressure. You know, so when you go for gatherings, just like I was given an example about, maybe you are going for a burial, or what maybe we call, particularly in our language, kamweredo. This is where maybe you are just going somewhere, and it's all about fun. Many young people just feel compelled, to try and sip, and maybe after they sip, maybe they can feel how that thing tastes, you know. So for those guys, they really feel that having that form of social pressure really compels them to be in part and parcel of doing alcohol. Sometimes we also have some friends or even some partners. This is life, and sometimes we just meet some partners, maybe who are really drinking, or maybe who are really doing some stuff like drinking. And in the process, since we don't want to lose these kind of partners, then at the end of the day, we don't want to risk, losing them. Then at the end of the day, we normalize, and we are part and parcel of maybe the drinking habit. That is it. And then others is as a result of taking maybe alcohol as a result of a coping mechanism. you know Drinking frequently, as we all know, uh, it's becoming a norm in such a way that people really want to cope with maybe hard life, maybe with some emotional issues that you are really experiencing in life. Maybe you went to school, you just feel that maybe you don't have an opportunity, there is no job for you, and each and every time you think about it, you just, to cool your mind. Yeah, it's just maybe take a sip, or maybe you can take a beer or two, and then from there you are just going to feel that your mind have really relaxed. So that one is a coping mechanism. It is there, based on the social issues that people are really facing. People are facing a lot of issues: the issues of unemployment, the issues of the marital conflict. Yeah, you just want to take some alcohol, so that even when your husband is being violent, when he is drunk, you are also drunk, and then from there now maybe you can handle him properly. So those are some of the key issues. That's another key issue. The coping mechanism that is also leading people to be in part and parcel, maybe of alcoholism. So in the process of coping with alcohol, because maybe you have an issue that you really want to experience, something like trauma and anxiety or even depression, may also tend to turn to alcohol as a way of looking for a way, to always divert on their issues. So alcoholism, when we see people maybe taking one or two, is all because because some people are really maybe undergoing through rough time, and they are really saying, you know what, as a way of cooling my mind, I think alcohol can become my companion, and once alcohol has become my companion, then I think I'll have an easier time, to navigate through those issues that I'm really seeing as complex. The other issue that may have led, to increase alcoholism within our society is all about the aspect of accessibility. You know, this is where we are having a lot of alcoholism joints. The alcohol beverage joints. Like in the place that I live, we have a lot of them. You know, like you just go to building, then we have a joint. Another two building, you have a joint. That's how widespread, alcohol business is. And apart from having a lot of alcoholism joint, we also have a lot of clubs. Those are joint, but now we have the major clubs. This is where you just go and you relax and you have one, and then from there life is there. you know so it's all about accessibility. So in terms of accessibility, in our Kenyan context, having a lot of joints and maybe making alcohol to be so much accessible can also be linked to have increased in our drinking habits. The other issue is all about the economic factors, and one of the key economic factors is all about the financial burden. You know, so accessibility. Then apart from accessibility, uh, one of the key negative aspects of us maybe having a lot of alcohol each and every day is all about the financial issues. Alcohol has really, especially when you take it too much, when you become an addict, alcohol is financially draining. I know you guys, you can understand when I say financially draining. This is where it really consumes significant amount of your resources. I remember a certain man in our village who used to love alcohol a lot. That man was an alcohol lover, and in the process, that guy, uh, just went. He started selling his property one by one, since he had already become an addict. That is the first case. Then we have another second case. There was this guy who was widely spoken of by Classic 105, I think last year. The guy was from Mulanga, and he had sold his plot for 700,000 Kenya shillings. You know, and the guy just felt that it's my time now to enjoy my money. The guy was old, and the guy really felt that it was his time to enjoy his money, maybe before before he meets his maker. So the guy just went and he started living, and in the process yes, okay, he just met with a certain lady, and in the process, that's how 700,000 Kenya shillings, 700,000, 700,000 Kenya shillings just came to an end. It was not all about alcohol, but alcohol also contributed. It was the key contributing factor that really made that guy to meet that lady, and then in the process all his money was gone within a week. You can see the impact. All the 700,000 Kenya shillings was gone within a week. So alcoholism is really an issue, and alcohol can really make you a slave, especially when maybe you are not strategically on when and how maybe to consume alcohol. So that's a very very critical factor that we should always consider, because alcohol at the end of the day, it really significantly consumes a lot of our resources. It really consumes a lot of our resources, and in the process of it consuming a lot of our resources, we always find that we leave a lot of duties. We become absent mothers, we become absent fathers, we become irresponsible fathers. It's all about because of work, or because all the resources or all the financial gains that we are really getting, we are really spending it on alcohol. That has become an issue, and I have seen it even maybe some families just breaking up because someone became too alcoholic to an extent that he cannot or she cannot even take care. Mostly he cannot take care of the family. That's an issue that is really happening in our society, and an issue that we really need to significantly look into. And apart from generating a lot of financial problems, it also, we also do a lot of spending. We do a lot of spending, especially when we take one for the road, when we take two for the road, because at the end of the day, we have to meet even our friends. We have even to meet our friends, and in the process of even meeting our friends, we have to entertain them. And entertaining our friends, we really have to focus on ensuring that we also engage them by buying them something. you know so alcoholism is there. It is an issue that really drains what we may call our financial resources. The other downside of alcohol or alcoholism within our society is all about the economic disruption. You know, as we said, so many social families or so many families are really breaking up each and every day. This is on record here in Kenya. We are really having a lot of breakups, because of family, because of alcohol. You just feel, maybe the wife just feel that this is not the best environment, to bring up the kids. And then at the end of the day, the best she can do is just to say, I think it's time to say bye bye. It's time to say bye bye, maybe to this thing that we call alcohol. And then at the end of the day, once she does that, there is that social breakup. There is that social breakup. The other issue is all about the disruption of the family and social relationship. That one, I have seen young people, young people who are really into alcoholism, going back, to their fathers. I know what I can do it. I know what I can utilize it in this life. But in the key most of them, their main aim is just to go maybe to sell that property or maybe that inheritance, and that finally they all resort into alcoholism. And in the process, that good relationship that really used to prevail maybe between father and son is no longer there. It's very very evident. I saw of an issue, you know and when the issue was looked into, it was all said it was all about alcoholism. you know so it is alcoholism. At the end of the day, it's also degenerating. It's also degenerating our families. There are a lot of family breakdowns, which are really being drained by alcoholism. uh, Given the health factors that can be linked with the aspect of alcoholism, One of the key issues that we can say, we have seen a lot of increased lifestyle diseases, and each and every day, alcoholism is really, we are really taking chemicals. That's the thing. We are really taking chemicals. Yeah, sometimes I remember here in Kenya, there was a time when Kibaki, was our president, and in the Eastern region, there were some guys who had been sold alcohol, and the real alcohol that they were sold, it was all about methanol, because we should consume ethanol, yeah, but for their case, they were all given methanol in terms of alcohol, and therefore now instantly, and it really became a crisis. It really became a crisis. The other issue is all about, I have also seen in situations whereby, young people may be going for places, and because maybe the driver is under influence of alcohol, then we always realize very high, very high cases of accidents. So alcohol is really contributing to increased, increased health risks, and some of the key health risks that most of our people in our society today are experiencing, the young people, is all about the kidney failure. I think there is a mechanism, or there is a way that alcohol is really disrupting, the way our kidneys are really operating. So, kidney failure is part of lifestyle disease that is really linked with alcoholism. And then apart from kidney failure, we are also realizing very high cases of high blood pressure, high blood pressure. And once maybe you become an addict, there is also an aspect of you even experiences what we may call the organ failures. Organ failures, they are always there, and it all depends with the quality and with the kind of alcohol that you are really consuming, and that you are really maybe intaking in your body. So increased risks, they are always there, and today they have really increased in our modern society. So that's another thing that we should be able to realize as we continue, consuming alcohol. The other issue is all about the chronic health issues. The chronic health issues. We are really having a lot of chronic health issues. We all know that one of the key contributors, of alcoholism is all about the liver cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis, we also have some cardiovascular diseases. And even today, in some investigation have really shown that some cancer, are really linked with alcoholism. So alcoholism has really, it's a kind of the kind of chemicals that we are really maybe taking in our bodies. It's really altering, the way our bodies are acting, to an extent that it can, it can even what is it called? It can even ignite some of the cancerous cells within our body. So cancer is also part and parcel, of alcohol-related disease. So there are those that have really that they have also realized, cancer, like what is it called? Uh, we have a lot of cancer, like I think I cannot really call it, but there is one that is really linked with alcohol. So cancer is also part and parcel of lifestyle disease that is, also linked with the drinking habit. you know then we also have the mental issues. People are really experiencing a lot of health mental issues, like alcohol drinking disorders. They are usually there, and like there are those guys, especially when maybe they are so much into alcohol, without even taking it, their body just shifts into something else, and that's a form of disorder. So until they take it, they can never destabilize. I don't know if you guys you have really seen maybe someone who is so much used into alcoholism, and they cannot even be able to hold a pen, because they are really shivering, you know. But once now they take maybe or they sweep alcohol, their body just stabilizes, you know. So some of these mental disorders, they are also alcohol linked. Depression, so many people have really died, as a result of depression. And depression, what happens when you are a heavy drinker and maybe used to earn very good amount of money somewhere, and then at the end of the day you just realize that alcohol maybe drained all your money, you become very depressed, and there are also those that when they take alcohol, they are before taking alcohol they are very reserved, you know but once now they take it, they become ignited, you know that's also a form of disorder. They have an extra anxiety, they can even give you stories, they can even share a lot of information with you, and then at the end of the day the issue really becomes very interesting. But when they are sober, they cannot even, you cannot even be able, you cannot even, they don't even talk. That should be the thing, they don't even talk. But once they are, but once they have really taken something, they are always ignited. And that's a form of anxiety, a form of mental issue or mental disorder that is also linked with alcoholism, So that's another one. And there are also those that are really struggling with mental issues because they have abused alcohol uh, to the, you know, to the, they have really abused alcohol to the greatest extent. They they can take this form of alcohol, they take another blood, they take another one, they take another one, they take another one, and therefore they have that kind of a struggle, which is also a form of mental disorder. And therefore they are always very confused, which one should I leave, which one should I continue, all that form of a thing. The other issue is all about this physiological change. Yes.
Uko na hizi msumali za waya hizi za white hizi
Steel nail. Steel nail ziko.
Hizi za kushika waya.
Oh, cable clip. Cable clips. Ziko.
Nipe hizo na uko na pia steel nail.
Steel nail pia ziko.
Ile size ndogo.
1 inch.
Zinakuja unanipatia za how much?
This one is 2 shillings each.
Acha niwekeza.
And back to our story. uh, Alcoholism always comes with a lot of physiological changes, especially when maybe you have been drinking a lot of alcohol and then maybe you just want to withdraw. The withdrawal symptoms are always there. And especially those people that maybe they just withdraw just once. you know it comes with a lot of changes, the physical changes. And maybe when you are too much into alcohol, even there is a way that your body even changes. You see some people like their eyes, maybe they are pale or something of such, which is form of a physiological change. you know and family history, the genetic and the family history is another thing that have really significantly increased maybe the alcohol drinking problem. We have some people with that gene, that gene or that genetic factor that can really influence them into what we may call vulnerability into alcoholism. There are those that maybe they are family, and you always hear them say, even my father was an alcoholic, his grandfather, my great, all that chain, so that's another way which you always hear people saying that they really take it because it's a form of a generational thing. Some psychological traits such as low esteem, the aspect of impulsiveness, high need for approval or something of such, they also significantly increase someone to be prone to alcoholism. You know, that's another thing that people should understand. Maybe you are just there, and maybe you are just a young person, maybe you are just starting your life, but you always feel maybe for you to be recognized, for you to feel that maybe you belong to a certain society, to a certain group, maybe you should also be taking a little bit of alcohol. you know that essence of maybe feeling that maybe you are not yet there, and you really need to be recognized, can also make you also to be part and parcel of alcoholism. Then we also have what we may call the early age consumption. This is where people start drinking at a very, very, very young age. You know, and these some of those guys that are really drinking at very, very young age, I believe they have very high risks of also developing, you know, alcohol related consequences or alcohol related deficiencies. One, I believe and I have seen, especially when we used to be in high school, there are those guys who would always engage in alcoholism. You know, there are those guys who would always engage in alcoholism, and at the end of the day, since you are really injecting a lot of chemicals maybe in your body, and then at the end of the day, it must have some kind of an impact. We always say, from physics perspective or from the physics point of view, for every action there is also a reaction. For every action there is also a reaction. So the more we put more chemicals in our bodies in terms of alcohol, especially when we meet, especially when maybe we take some beverages maybe that do not have the standards, then at the end of the day we are really trying to have some kind of a reaction with time. You know, some of the key impact and some of the key implications of alcoholism within our society is all about the issues of injuries and accidents. As we said, people that are really into alcoholism or something of sort, or they are at high risks of always experiencing, the accidents. The level of injuries, they are very, very high, and the survival rates uh, in case they have an accident is always very minimal. So alcohol really contributes to significant, especially here in Africa, considering that our roads are not well done, all those factors, they really create a very huge impact in terms of how, the survival rate of the alcoholic. The other issue is all about the injuries. There are also those that maybe they are injured as they fight because maybe they had a difference, maybe while in the club. I have heard of several cases, others shooting others while they are drinking, and in the process you just hear maybe we had some fatalities, the fatal cases, or maybe even some people are injured in that process. So injuries and accidents, they are very prone, especially when alcoholism is under, when alcoholism is the key contributing factor. The other issue, as we said, violence and crime, they are also propelled and they are also heightened by alcoholism. Violence, this is at the personal level. You might find someone just became aggressive, because maybe he had alcohol, or maybe he had alcohol plus combination of other drugs. That really creates what we call violence. And crimes, they are also increasing each and every day, especially when maybe when you have become an addict, and then at the end of the day there is no source of money, where maybe you can get your money to go and fund your lifestyle, your drinking uh, lifestyle. Today I had also a case of a good friend of mine who really told me that he invited his friend in her house, and this friend, Lily, he is just a friend, very young, but just a friend, just invited her in her house. And in the process, the friend, because he is an alcoholic, just went with her phone. And when they met, because they really looked for that phone in that house and they didn't get it, and when they met, that that person really asked that guy where he took the phone, and the guy would confess that he sold the phone for 2,000 Kenya shillings, and the phone was worth about 40,000 Kenya shillings. And then he confessed that he just sold it at a little throwaway price as a way of funding for his alcoholic behavior. You see? So it really leads to a lot of aggression, to a lot of crime, and what we call on intimate partner and sexual violences. There are some ladies who are always maybe sexualized, or maybe who are harassed, especially when they are drunk, you know but when they are sober, they are okay. They are okay, but when maybe they are the influence of alcohol, they just find that maybe someone just misused them, and we have a lot of consequences thereafter. So sexual violence is also very prone, and it's also a very known thing that is really being impacted by alcoholism. The other issue is all about the impacting, holistically impacting the family wellness or the family welfare, because beyond an individual taking alcohol, then we must remember, the family is a unit. You have the wife, you have the kids, and we have a lot of needs, that they are required within the family. But since someone is just an alcoholic, then even meeting those needs, it might be mental needs, it might be financial needs, physical needs, all these needs, they are not really met, and in the process they can lead to a chain of other issues such as the psychological problems, maybe because the husband is always fighting the wife, especially when they come home drunk, you know maybe when the couples, they are both of them are revelers or they are drunkards, and then they have the kids. but the kid, they just feel that maybe their parents. Yes. So that also happens very, very often, especially when you see maybe the parents, both of them are drunkards, and then they have kids. And then in the process, instead maybe of prioritizing on how to take care of their kids, maybe they are prioritizing more on maybe having, some parties and doing a lot of alcohol. Then we have what, this is new also to me. This is also very, very, okay, now I get it. We also have what we call the fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. This one is very, very there. It's very much there. The fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD. This is mainly for mothers, yeah, for mothers that are maybe consuming alcohol at a very high rate. They can, the essence of alcoholism maybe in their blood stream or their blood system, can really, affect the growth of, the growth of that young child, and in the process, maybe those guys, maybe those kids, those kids before, after they are born, you just maybe find that they have some form of developmental disabilities, yeah, they have some deformities. And then in the process, you just now go back and you just say that maybe I was cast, all those reasons that we always give. But if you check and if you evaluate keenly, alcoholism really contributes significantly even to the growth of the fetus. That's a very, very important thing for us to understand, especially when we are women and when we are maybe duped into alcoholism. So in totality, alcoholism, the issue of alcoholism is something that is really increasing. It's something that is really, really increasing within our society, and there is need for us to focus on strategies on how we can be able to reduce, alcoholism within our society, as a way of ensuring uh, that we have a better society, we have a better tomorrow, we have a better tomorrow that can really save life, that can really ensure that even the families are really working well. So I'm really going to look at very few, then I'm going to call it a day. So one of the key things that we have really seen, especially in Kenya, is always once each and every time we are having our national budget, alcohol is one of the key products that always attract what we may call, a tax, tax. And so alcohol tax is one of the key things. Alcohol and the other beverages that are linked with it, they are always attract what we may call the tax. So tax is there, and then we have also the restriction on how to sell alcohol. I think this is one of the key things that was really tackled by Mutudo law, but unfortunately I don't think the law today is effective, because we have a lot of cartels, that have really gone into the alcohol and beverage industry. But essentially what we should have is all about maybe the age limit of who takes alcohol, and we also restrict, the hours on sale of alcohol. For our case, it was said that people should be allowed to be taking alcohol maybe from 5. Unfortunately, even 7 o'clock in the morning, I always see some of those micro mini, the mini bar, they are always open. So I don't think that one is really applied within our society, unless we align to ourselves. The other issue is all about regulating advertising and promotion of alcohol and its beverages. That's another way that we can really de-emphasize. We can really de-emphasize on the aspect of alcohol consumption within our society. So that one, I think it's on very limited scale. Though there are some companies up to date that are really promoting their brands, their alcohol brands. The other issue is all about supporting community actions. This is where maybe community act and collaborate with the government agencies to ensure that we regulate the consumption of alcohol. So that one is very, very present. Then the support system, the support groups, uh, you know, uh, there are those groups maybe where people are reforming maybe from alcoholism and something of such. So forming those groups also becomes a very, very important element of ensuring that we curtail, the impact of alcoholism within our society. At the individual level, what can someone do? You make a plan. This is where maybe you have your plan that maybe I'll just be taking 2 beers maybe per month. That one, I think it's another effective way of ensuring that we really curtail the high consumption levels of alcoholism within our society. Then the other thing is all about seeking support. This is where we can seek support from families. The church is very, very much present in fighting alcoholism within our society. That's another rich way of ensuring that we reduce the notion of alcoholism. Then from there, we can also manage on our diet and we manage our urges. This is where we realize that alcohol, having alcohol is not a luxury, but also an expense. That's a thing that we should also realize. Having it is not really a hobby, but really an expense, and it has also detrimental impact in terms of our health. So guys, that is it. I really want to say thank you everyone. Let's do everything in moderation, and if we are capable, we can also even say that we need even to reduce it more. So guys, thank you. Let's meet tomorrow for another good one. May you have an amazing time.